Hi, Martin from Revelation Software here with another video in my series that is looking at getting started with OpenInsight. Now, since I put out my demo application, I've had a number of people ask about how I create the buttons or where I get the buttons from, because there are quite a few used within the application, different sizes, different styles, etc. Creating the buttons used to drive me absolutely crazy. It took forever. And then I had to think about it, and I came up with a little way that I use to create buttons very quickly and very easily. And that's multi-state buttons. So in this particular window here, you can see that at the moment the save, clear and delete buttons are all disabled because there's no record. But if I go in and create a new record, then now I can save, clear and delete those. Those buttons have become enabled. And I also do the same with the QBF buttons. They can become enabled at different times as well. Now I've got a certain size of button on the toolbar, which means that they're all the same size, they look the same, and there's this consistency. And then down in the form, I've got a slightly smaller button that is sized to the edit line controls. So that's a different type of button. And then the third type of button that I create very often is one with an image and some text. So let's just come out of here, and on my machine I've got in my folder, my clinic data folder, I've created another folder called images, where we're keeping all of our images. If you remember, we put the comments, details and doctor image for the tab control. Now I've dropped a few others in here. These are pretty special, these images here. These are what I call my template images. So in the window that we're working on, our edit lines are 20 pixels high. And here I've got a button that is 20 pixels high. So that's the button that I'm going to use as the template for the button that we're going to be using for this window. But I've got others. I've got one here which is a 21 pixel high button that takes a 16 pixel image. There's a 24 pixel button. And then I've got a couple as well for the longer buttons with the text on. But for today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with this 20 button 16 image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Paint program. Now I'm using Paint Shop Pro, but you can be using any Paint program that you want. And we'll go File, and we'll Open. And we're going to open the 20 button 16 image, because that's the one that we are going to be using. And also I want to open an additional file. Now the file is the graphic that we're going to be putting onto that button. And in this instance, it's the folder view, and that will make more sense in the next lesson when we come to actually work with the form and the button. I'm just going to change the view here, and I'm going to zoom in on these buttons so you can see them a little bit bigger. And we'll zoom in on this one as well. They don't necessarily need to be the same size. Okay, now you can see my template a bit better now. My template for my buttons is fairly simple. You can have it deeper by adding more grey and white lines around the edge, but then you either restrict the amount of room that you've got on the button, or you've got to make your button a bit bigger. So what we have here is a template for a 3-state button. First of all, we're going to have the button raised, the button depressed, and then this one will be for the button being disabled. And you can see here that I've got a sort of grey area for the main area on the button, and then I've got a highlighted and a low lighted area. Very, very, very simple. Over in the other window here, I've got the graphic that I'm going to be dropping onto the little template. And this is where it all gets very easy. All I need to do is to drop a dot, just 1 pixel, onto the new image, and I usually make it red or whatever colour. And then all I need to do is to copy that entire image. So Control and paste, drop that into the template and align the red dots. And then we'll Control V to drop another one on, and again we'll just align those dots. And for the third one, which is disabled, I need a grayscale image. So we'll just come back over to this image. And again, in your particular software package, there's normally an option to make an image grayscale. In mine, it's off the image and the mode menu. Don't worry about that. So that gives us a grayscale image. So we'll Control C to copy, come back to our templates, and we'll just drop that onto the template for us, and again we'll line up the dots. Now the reason why I'm lining up the dots is for two reasons. One, I want to make sure that the normal button and the disable button, this image that we've just dropped on there, is in exactly the same place, and by lining up the dots I make sure that that is the case. However, when we press our button, I want the whole image to drop 1 pixel to the right and 1 pixel down. So again, if I make sure that the image that I'm copying in is lined up with this pixel, then I know I'm okay. Now I can close down the grayscale one because we're done with that for now. And all I need to do now, very simply, is to replace the red pixels with our background color, and then we just simply save that away. So file, save as. Now I'm doing this as save as so I don't overwrite my template. I'm in the right folder, and we'll go in and we'll save this as a PNG file, and we'll give it a unique name, which is open folder. I'll save that away. Okay, that, and we're done with Paint Shop Pro, so we can close that down, and we can close this window down too.